Hi everyone, welcome to English Digest. I'm Pat.
I'm Leah.
And today we're going to be looking at green vegetables.
Oh my.
Yeah, not just their health benefits, which is something that everybody should be aware of, but also some interesting cultural stories that are wrapped up around a few of these different vegetables, provide some views on how people around the world view some of these different veggies.
Well, but I have to ask you, Pat.
Yes.
Do you like to eat your greens?
I could be better,
Yeah.
I would say. I think I'll mention when we get into day 2 and look at some specific examples. Some of those I like, some of those I'm not so keen on. Now, as a kid, I was terrible.
Right.
I was a real fussy eater, but it's one of those things as I've grown up, I've come to appreciate them more and I eat them more, sometimes a little grudgingly, and there's some that I don't really like that much.
When I'm being a good girl, I definitely am good at eating my veggies because they do make me feel better. I notice if I get a good regular rhythm of eating a lot of veggies, suddenly I have a lot more energy, suddenly you lose some weight, suddenly you want to go to the gym. It kind of kicks in the whole idea of doing good things for your body.
Yeah, it does kind of give you a little boost. Like, yeah, I had quite a lot of veggies today. I'm feeling like I've done good. I haven't just eaten some junk food or something quick on the go. I mean, I certainly do like, I like all the peppers, the green, the yellow, the red peppers. I like a lot of the leafy ones. Broccoli, I can kind of take it or leave it, I have to say. Cucumber, I just don't like it.
So I guess we want to find out why we would want to eat our veggies, and that's something we're going to do today. So let's get started by reading today's lesson.
Eat your greens. Kids all over the world are familiar with this parental plea to consume all the green veggies on their plate. In truth, many adults should also heed this advice, as is demonstrated by a 2018 report stating that 70% of Taiwanese people fail to eat the recommended quantity of vegetables. Given this, there's no better time to explore the benefits of green vegetables, as well as some curious cultural tales associated with them. Everyone knows greens are packed full of nutrition. In general, they're rich in minerals like iron and calcium, and they contain a variety of vitamins. This makes them beneficial to multiple parts of the body. For example, the vitamins C and E in leafy greens such as kale can slow the progress of age-related eye conditions. Meanwhile, cruciferous vegetables, those whose leaves vaguely resemble a cross, such as broccoli, cabbage, and mustard greens, contain antioxidants that help reduce the risk of cancer. It's important to be aware that cooking methods have an impact on the nutritional value of green vegetables. One myth to put to bed is that veggies are always healthier when they're raw. While there's nothing wrong with eating raw vegetables, cooking them makes it easier for your body to absorb their nutrients. On the other hand, boiling vegetables can cause them to lose nutrients. Therefore, it's important to minimize the cooking time, temperature, and the amount of water used to cook vegetables. Steaming them is better than boiling them, and heating them in a microwave also preserves the nutrient levels. There are some exceptions, though. Microwaving cauliflower results in high nutrient loss, for instance.
Okay, everybody. So let's take a look at the first sentence of day 1. Eat your greens. Kids all over the world are familiar with this parental plea to consume all the green veggies on their plate. Now, eat your greens is one of those expressions, when I think of it, it's like buckle your seatbelt or clean your room. And it's an order, right? You have the verb in front, but there's no who's supposed to do this. There's an understood you. You are supposed to do this. You eat your greens. And that's something that kids all over the world will hear very often. They are familiar with this request or plea. A plea is well when you're begging. You might plead to the judges to say, "Hey, I'm not guilty," or "Hey, please don't give me, a big sentence for my crime." Here it's the parental plea. So your parents, your mother and your father, are the ones who are making this plea, kind of like parental guidance that's needed for a movie. If you're watching it and there's some stuff in there that's not good for kids maybe under 13, then it might say parental guidance recommended.
Yeah, I'm now on the other side of it. I'm encouraging my 2 children to make sure they eat their vegetables, which they do, actually. They're pretty good at that kind of thing at the moment.
They're consuming them. They're eating them.
Yes, indeed, yeah. So the article goes on to say, in truth, many adults should also heed this advice, the eat your greens advice, as is demonstrated by a 2018 report stating that 70% of Taiwanese people fail to eat the recommended quantity of vegetables. We have a few words to look at here, starting with the verb to heed. To heed advice is not only to listen to it, but also to think about it and put it into practice. It's something you need to pay attention to. If someone gives you a warning about something important, you need to heed that warning. So to heed advice is to really listen and think about it.
And as is demonstrated or shown by the report that is mentioned here, when something is demonstrated, think about like when you go to the grocery store and you want to eat something that is on display. They might demonstrate how to make that food. They might also demonstrate how to use cleaning supplies or some sort of a mop or something like that. It means to show. In a 2018 report stating that 70% so a lot of Taiwanese people are not eating their veggies, guys. So you are failing to eat the recommended quantity of vegetables. What you are doing is you are not eating the recommended quantity. Recommended means it's what's this, well, actually not scientists probably will be saying.
Doctors, nutritionists, what people say, yeah. It's their suggested amount.
You think of that triangle, right?
Yeah, and like if you want to eat a healthy diet, you should eat this much this. In the UK, the 5 a day was always the thing that I remember hearing a lot. Is that the same in the States as well?
I think it became pretty popular. I just remember growing up with the triangle. So, the sweets are at top. You eat very few sweets, and then down at the bottom are all the veggies and some bread, too.
Yeah. Now, I do wonder whether, and my dad is a doctor, I'll have to check this with him, whether kind of doctors put that recommended number like higher than it technically needs to be.
How do you eat it all in one day?
Right, because I think if people like aim to get that but fall short, then it probably means they're still eating a decent amount of healthy vegetables.
That's actually what you're mentioning with the fall short. It's the fail to. I like that expression. You fail to complete something. You fail to pass a test. You fail to make a team. I like that little phrasal verb, right?
So the article goes on and says, given this, there's no better time to explore the benefits of green vegetables, as well as some curious cultural tales associated with them. So yeah, once you've heard about all the good things that vegetables do to you, and maybe kind of amuse yourself with some of the stories we've got in the second day of our article, you might think, well, you know what? I'm going to go home and I'm going to cook myself some veggies, or I'm going to get a salad the next time I'm out and get some more of this stuff in my body.
And it's not just for, losing weight. It's actually just for getting those vitamins and things, as we're going to talk about as we go on, that you need every day. So, yeah, given this, there's no better time. No better time means now. Now is the time to explore those benefits, right? So explore the benefits means to kind of, look into the situation a little bit more deeply and see what the good things are in it that you can take out of it. There are a lot of benefits to green vegetables, which we will get to, and the curious cultural tales associated with them. What exactly is that going to be? Well, it's quite curious. It makes you interested, right?
Yeah, these kind of like stories and things and these are from different parts of the world. People will look at these vegetables in different ways based on the culture that they're in, based on sort of the history.
And probably also like where they are, different kinds of crops grow.
Yeah.
So different things are more necessary to eat every day for, standard nutrition.
Exactly. And we're going to start with that word nutrition as the next paragraph begins. Everyone knows greens are packed full of nutrition. Yeah, this is no secret. Everybody knows vegetables are healthy and we should eat more of them. This isn't a hot tip that's suddenly going to break open your life. Like, what? Vegetables are healthy?
But they're not just healthy. They're packed full. So it's like if you have a bag and you stick everything in it till it's almost bursting. They're packed full with nutrition, right?
That's right. And nutrition is, of course, the stuff your body needs to grow properly. Whether that's just calories to give you energy, whether it's the vitamins that help you grow and keep all the different parts healthy and in working order, the fiber to make your digestive system work, anything that your body needs and you can't necessarily just make for yourself is nutrition. That's what is in food. That's why we eat it.
And nutrients, I guess that is something that is related to nutrition, as well as something being nutritious. So we talk about something being nutritious if it's good for you to eat it, if it gives you the nutrition you need when you eat it. In general, they're rich in minerals like iron and calcium, and they contain a variety of vitamins. That sounds like a good thing in principle, although eating them, I guess, is the difficulty there, right? In general means, well, in most circumstances, this is going to be true. So in general, these vegetables are rich in minerals. They're packed full of minerals like iron and calcium. So these are two of the minerals that are in there. Iron, as we know, is really good for the blood. It's also good for like 180 different things that our body needs, including like bone marrow, I think, and calcium, which calcium as a kid, you're told, well, this is what I need to be eating to grow big and strong and to make my bones big and strong.
Exactly. It's just one of those chemical elements that we just need in our body. Yet bone is the main use, but you'll find it going around doing a variety of jobs. Vegetables also contain a variety of vitamins. Vitamin is, again, this important thing that the body needs. Loads of different ones. These are different chemical compounds. They perform all kinds of different roles. You will hear British people say vitamins a lot. That is how we pronounce it in the UK. Weirdly, I think the American pronunciation is probably more scientifically correct. I think it is. Vitamins is better. Normally, I always go with the British pronunciation, but
that's an argument.
I've changed my mind on this one. And of course, having all these different minerals, vitamins and things, this makes them beneficial to multiple parts of the body. So just eating vegetables doesn't just help like your skin. It doesn't just help your bones or your liver. They work everywhere.
For example, the vitamin C and E in leafy greens, such as kale, can slow the progress of age-related eye conditions. Well, there's a great reason right there to consider eating more kale. It helps your eyes. If you don't want to get to the stage when you're older in life and you're like, I can't see anything, well, this might help you prevent that from happening because the vitamin C and the vitamin E that's in these leafy greens, leafy meaning, well, like spinach or cabbage. Well, cabbage I wouldn't really call so leafy. Spinach and bok choy and things like this, or kale, as is mentioned in here. Any of those greens that, when you throw them in the frying pan, it takes a little while for them to steam down and they're individual pieces. Those are the ones I think of being a bit more leafy as opposed to like Brussels sprouts or cabbage, which is a cabbage head or a lettuce head.
Yeah. So meanwhile, the article says cruciferous vegetables whose leaves vaguely resemble a cross, such as broccoli, cabbage, and mustard greens, contain antioxidants that help reduce the risk of cancer. Cruciferous is just in here because it's the technical term for this kind of family of vegetables. Cruciferous, as is explained, just means like a cross, like a crucifix, cross-shaped. So if you think of those vegetables that are mentioned, broccoli, cabbage, their leaves and their sort of flowery bits do form kind of a cross. Not exactly an exact cross, but kind of a cross shape. So that's why they've got this name. One example is mustard greens. People might know mustard because you can take the seeds of it and turn those into a spice or a paste. But mustard greens are leafy plants, and so you can eat the leaves as well. So you do actually get them in Taiwan quite a lot, just
That's
mustard
true.
greens. You fry them or sort of quickly kind of boil them quickly so they
chop them up, put them inside of dumplings and things like that.
Exactly, yeah. They get a lot of use. You probably don't even know exactly what they are. They're just some kind of vegetable.
And, of course, we talk about antioxidants here. Something that stops oxidation is an antioxidant. A lot of times we talk about, oxidation as being quite bad for the body or bad for your cells. And this is stuff that stops that process. So it helps you reduce things like the risk of cancer.
Which is very important. Okay, we've reached the end of that paragraph. We're going to take a short break now and hand over to our Chinese teacher.Hello
everyone， 我是派老师。今天讲解的是12月12号 Unit7。这个单元介绍的是青菜。大家从小到大应该都吃过不少青菜，也知道青菜对于饮食均衡的重要性。不过，大家是否了解青菜到底如何影响人体健康？为了充分摄取青菜的营养价值，烹调的时候有没有哪一些注意事项呢？好，我们一起来看学习重点吧。请同学看到第一段第一个句子 Eat your greens。 有没有同学觉得好奇怪？ Green 不是绿色的，它是形容词啊，为什么这里放在 your 这个所有格后面呢？没错，在这里 green 同学注意到后面有加上 s 了吗？这边所指的呢就是绿色的青菜。好，再来请同学看到第三个句子In truth, many adults should also heed this advice. 不止小孩子应该多吃青菜，大人也应该要特别的 heed this advice， 要把这个建议呢放在心上，要特别的注意。As is demonstrated by a， 好，这里的 demonstrated， 请同学画起来。被动语态这个 demonstrated 是过去分词，表示已经有研究证明。什么时候的研究呢？2018年有这么样子的一篇文章，那这篇报告里面指出，有 70% 的台湾人所吃的蔬菜量并不够。好，再来，请同学看到第四个句子 Given this， 请同学画起来，这是一个很常见的惯用语，有鉴于此。好，再来，请同学看到第二段的第二个句子 In general,They are rich in minerals. 好，一般绿色蔬菜呢，富含什么呢？矿物质 ，rich in。好，在某个方面很丰富。好，所以矿物质很丰富，这些蔬菜 rich in minerals。好，再来，请同学看到第四个句子。我们常会说叶菜类的蔬菜，英文怎么讲 ？Leafy greens。Leafy greens。好，再来，请同学看到这个句子比较后面的地方，主要动词的部分哦。好，就是Vitamin C 还有 Vitamin E。我们知道在叶菜类的蔬菜当中很多嘛，它们有什么样子的功能呢？ They can slow the progress of age-related eye conditions。 这里的 progress 并不是一件好事哦，请同学要注意，它并不是进步进展的意思，而是指什么呢？跟年龄相关，眼部出现了一些问题，那会恶化嘛。 Progress 它指的呢是问题的恶化。好，再来，请同学看到第五个句子。好，那我们知道说，除了这些叶菜类以外，十字花科蔬菜其实对人体健康也很有帮助，可以降低罹癌风险。英文怎么说？ Reduce the risk of cancer。Reduce the risk of cancer。好，就降低风险。
So we'll take a short break and then we'll be right back.
Welcome back, guys. We're talking about green veggies, healthy foods with stories to tell, and we've been talking about how we need to eat our veggies and how good veggies are for you. And we're going to continue on now with the next sentence in the story. It's important to be aware that cooking methods have an impact on the nutritional value of green vegetables. So this is kind of something you say when you want people to pay attention. It's important to be aware that. It's important to know that. Well, cooking methods, the way that you choose to cook vegetables can have an impact on the value of nutrition that is in those vegetables.
Yeah, like one obvious thing is suppose you deep fried some vegetables, they're not going to be quite as healthy
But they taste good.
Yeah, they will. And this is this balance.
Right.
Like on one side there's taste, on the other side there's nutrition. You've got to find this happy medium in the middle.
That's true.
The article continues, one myth to put to bed is that veggies are always healthier when they're raw. So we're talking about a myth here. A myth is a story. It's something that is believed, it's quite popularly believed, but it may not be actually true. There's maybe a little bit of truth in there somewhere, but it's maybe been exaggerated, stories have been told about it. It's now entered popular belief, but it's not exactly 100% correct. And we're going to put this myth to bed. This is an idiom that means we're going to stop it being a myth. We're going to tell you the truth. We're going to move this myth out of the way and show you what is the actual facts.
And the myth is that veggies are always healthier when they're raw. There are groups of people who, when they diet, they like to only eat raw veggies. Mm-hmm. They feel like that is the way they get things into their body with the most nutrition in it. However, a lot of times, if you eat only raw vegetables, your body's like, what are you doing to me? This is too strong. So you have to kind of, again, as we talked earlier about, find that balance, right? While there's nothing wrong with eating raw vegetables, cooking them makes it easier for your body to absorb their nutrients. So that was what I was just saying. If you eat them raw, your body's like, stop it. This is hurting me. It's too much. It's just too powerful, maybe. But it's also because our body can't take it in. So what can we do to make it more possible for us to take it in? Well, we can cook them in some way that will make it easier for your body to absorb or take in their nutrients.
Yeah, a lot of the vitamins and other things are locked up in the cell structure of the plant, and cooking it breaks down that wall, as it were, and lets the nutrients out so your body can easily take them. If you don't, the whole vegetable could pass through your body and out again without you getting all the good stuff. Like
with flax seeds. If you do not actually grind down a flax seed, your body can't process the flax seed, so it will come out the other end, to put it politely.
Okay, so you probably should cook veggies a little, but the article points out, on the other hand, boiling vegetables can cause them to lose nutrients. So, if you boil the vegetables until they are very easy to eat, you're actually going to be losing a lot of what makes them healthy for you. That's why we say, on the other hand. We are providing a contrast. You're probably familiar with the phrase, on one hand, on the other hand. A lot of English speakers will only use the second part of that phrase, and the first part is implied, it's understood. We've presented one side of the argument, and we're just using the second half of the phrase to highlight, here's the contrast.
And normally it follows with something like, therefore, where there's going to be a recommendation for what you should do between the two or multiple choices. So therefore, it is important to minimize the cooking time, temperature, and the amount of water used to cook vegetables. So it is important to minimize. Minimize means to make smaller or to make less than what it might standardly be. So if you're boiling vegetables for 15 minutes, maybe you should minimize that and make it only 2 minutes, a quick blanching of your vegetables. So therefore, it's important to minimize that. Minimize what? The cooking time and the temperature and the amount of water used. So these are all things that you want to be aware of when you're cooking vegetables that maybe you don't need as much of as you think you do. You don't need as high a temperature. You don't need that much water to make those vegetables cooked to a point where your body can absorb the vitamins better.
A couple of examples are given here. Steaming them is better than boiling them. So that's cooking over steam. You're just like you do with dumplings. You boil the water in a pan and then you put something over the steam and that will cook the dumplings. It will cook the fish. It's another thing we often cook with steam. Vegetables, even some desserts can be steamed. Like
steamed buns.
Exactly. And the article also says heating them, vegetables, in a microwave also preserves the nutrient levels.
That one surprises me because, over history, recent history, anyway, people a lot of times have problems with microwaves and what they do to food. So it's quite interesting that a microwave is a good way to cook your veggies.
Not always, though, as we're about to see.
Right. Because there are some exceptions. So there are some cases where this is not true, though. Microwaving cauliflower results in high nutrient loss, for instance. That makes it difficult to eat your cauliflower when you throw it into the microwave. But maybe you can still do spinach quickly in a microwave. However, cauliflower and maybe other cruciferous vegetables like broccoli shouldn't be done in the microwave.
Yeah, Google is right there. You can just go, what is the best way to cook X? And you can find out. And you'll also find out a bunch of tasty dishes where you can vary the way you serve, prepare, and eat your vegetables in lots of different ways. Now that brings us to the end of the article. So thank you very much for listening, but we're not quite done yet. Join us again tomorrow for the second part of the article where we're going to look at some interesting cultural stories about vegetables. Right now, though, we're going to hand over once more to our Chinese teacher.
再接着我们看到第3段咯。好 ，It's important to be aware that， 所以我们需要知道什么是在后面 Cooking methods have an impact on the nutritional value. Nutritional value 指的就是营养价值。原来啊，我们怎么样烹调我们的食物，如何烹饪，是会影响食物的营养价值。好，所以 Cooking methods 指的就是烹饪调理的方式。再来，请同学看到第2个句子 One myth to put to bed。这个 put to bed 不是让什么人去睡觉，在这里的意思呢，就是要彻底终结这项迷思。好，有一个迷思呢是需要我们彻底去终结的。什么迷思啊？就是生吃的生菜呢是比较健康的，生吃的蔬菜比较健康。这是一个迷思。那再来，我们看到第3个句子，请同学特别注意到这里 Cooking them makes it easier。这个当然也是主要子句的部分。那 cooking them 是主词 makes it easier。这个 it 所代替的是后面的不定词片语 to absorb their nutrients。那去烹煮它们会让怎样吸收营养成分变得比较容易 absorb。To absorb 这件事情，它用前面这个 it 来 it。就是代替后面这个不定词片语。再来，请同学看到第5个句子 Therefore, it's important to minimize the cooking time. 所以，烹调的时间尽量的不要太长 minimize the cooking time 就尽量缩短缩减。好，再来，请同学看到第6个句子还有什么其他烹调的方式呢？ Steaming 那包括去蒸It's better than boiling them. 那比煮用开水汆烫去煮来得好。And heating them in the microwave. 那或者呢是用微波炉加热 also preserves the nutrient levels. 也有助于保存这些绿色蔬菜的营养价值。不过有例外哦。There are some exceptions though. 好，请同学注意到这个 though 放在句尾，表示但是。是有例外的。哪些蔬菜不适合微波呢？ Cauliflowers 原来啊，花椰菜是不适合微波的，因为啊会造成营养成分流失。好，以上就是我们针对第1天课文内容所做的中文讲解，谢谢。
That's it for today, guys. Thank you for joining us at English Digest, and we'll be back again next time. I'm Leah.
I'm Pat.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.